Get out of my house. The champagne glass shattered. For 3 seconds, 500 of Manhattan's elite went silent. All eyes turned to Vivian Whitmore, the woman who never lost her composure, never showed weakness, never made mistakes. But she wasn't looking at the shattered crystal on her marble floor. She was looking at the man holding her daughter's hand. Get out of my house. Isla didn't understand. This was supposed to be simple. Bring Callum to the gala. Introduce him to Mom. Start building their future together. But her mother's face had gone ghost white. Her hands were shaking. And in her eyes, Isla saw something she'd never seen before. Pure, undiluted rage. Because Callum Rhodes wasn't just her boyfriend. He was the son of the man who destroyed her mother's life 15 years ago. The man who stole her billion-dollar algorithm and left her with nothing. And her mother had spent 15 years planning the perfect revenge. Time to strike while his father was dying of cancer. Isla had just brought the enemy's son home for dinner. What happened next would force her to make an impossible choice. Save the man she loves or stay loyal to the woman who sacrificed everything to give her this life. But to understand why this moment destroyed her, you need to know how she fell in love with him in the first place. 3 months earlier. Singapore. Isla Whitmore is 26 years old, running a sustainable fashion company worth $50 million, and she is bored out of her mind at the Singapore Tech Summit. Her company, Threadline, is doing incredible things. Forbes called her one of the top entrepreneurs under 30. But success means everyone wants a piece of you, and they all sound exactly the same. She's scrolling through her phone when a voice cuts through the monotony. We're not here to make profitable AI. We're here to make AI that doesn't destroy humanity in the process. Isla looks up. The guy speaking is different. Younger, maybe 30, wearing a blazer that looks like he slept in it, speaking with an intensity that makes everyone else look like they're reading from a teleprompter. Everyone in this room wants to talk about scaling and market capture, he continues, but nobody wants to talk about what happens when your algorithm decides someone doesn't deserve a loan because of their zip code. When your facial recognition software can't identify dark skin. When your content recommendation system radicalizes a teenager in 6 months. We're building the future? Yeah, but what kind of future? Someone in the audience shouts, "So what's your solution? Just make less money?" The guy, his name tag says Callum Rhodes, actually laughs. "No, I'm saying make money without selling your soul." Revolutionary concept, I know. Isla finds herself smiling. After the panel, she approaches him. He's at the coffee station, typing furiously on his phone. Up close, he's even more disheveled. Collar askew, coffee stain on his cuff. But when he looks up and sees her, his entire face changes. "That was quite a speech," Isla says. "Thanks. I think I just torpedoed 3 potential investor meetings. But hey, honesty is a brand, right?" He extends his hand. "Callum Rhodes. I run a consultancy that absolutely nobody has heard of." Isla Whitmore. "I run a fashion company that way too many people have heard of." His eyes widen. "Wait, Threadline? You're that Isla Whitmore? Your keynote last year about supply chain transparency literally changed how I think about ethical tech. The part about how you can't have ethical endpoints without ethical processes? That's exactly what I'm trying to build." They talk for 20 minutes, then an hour, They miss the next panel, then the one after that. Isla learns that Callum dropped out of a PhD program because he couldn't stomach building surveillance systems for governments, that he grew up in Seattle, loves terrible sci-fi movies, and genuinely believes technology can save the world if people would just stop being greedy long enough to do it right. When the conference center starts closing, Callum looks embarrassed. This is going to sound incredibly forward, but I'm in Singapore for 3 more days. Do you want to get dinner? Continue this conversation somewhere where they're not kicking us out. Isla should say no. She has a meeting tomorrow morning. She doesn't date people she meets at conferences. But something about the way he looks at her, like she's not a brand or a success story, just a person with ideas worth listening to, makes her say yes. That dinner turns into breakfast. They watch the sunrise from Marina Bay, talking about everything from climate change to their favorite childhood books. Callum tells her about his thesis project that got shut down because it kept proving major companies were systematically discriminating. Isla tells him about the first time she visited a garment factory and saw 13-year-olds working 18-hour shifts and how that moment changed everything. Most people talk about changing the world, Callum says as the sun comes up. You actually did it. We're just getting started, Isla replies. Then before she can second-guess herself, how do you feel about long distance? He blinks. Like, us? Long distance us? I'm in New York. You're in Seattle. But I don't want this to be just a conference thing. Callum's smile could light up the entire skyline. I feel very, very good about long distance. What neither of them knew was that Callum's last name would destroy everything. And in 3 months, Ella would be standing in her mother's conference room, watching her mother's hand hover over the phone that would end it all. But for now, for 3 months, it was everything she'd hoped for. They video call every night, falling asleep with their phones propped up on pillows. Callum flies to New York twice. Isla flies to Seattle once. They text each other articles, terrible memes, voice notes at 2 a.m. about ideas that can't wait until morning. He gets her in a way nobody ever has. When she talks about the pressure of living up to her mother's legacy, he doesn't try to fix it or minimize it. When she admits she sometimes feels like an imposter, like she only succeeded because of her mother's money and connections, he says, yeah, privilege opened the door, but you're the one who built something worth building. Those are 2 different things. For the first time in her life, Ella feels like someone actually sees her. Not the Forbes profile, not the billion-dollar mom's daughter, just Isla. The woman who cries at animal rescue videos, who stress bakes at midnight, who wants to save the world but doesn't always know how. So when her mother's annual charity gala comes around, the biggest event of the season, 500 guests, everyone who's anyone, Isla makes a decision. She invites Callum. Are you sure? He asks over video chat, looking nervous. Meeting the mom is kind of a big deal. She's going to love you, Isla promises. You're brilliant. You're changing the world and you make me happy. What's not to love? If only she knew. The night of the gala, Callum flies in wearing the only suit he owns. Isla meets him at his hotel, and when she sees him in the lobby, cleaned up, hair actually combed, looking nervous and excited, her heart does this stupid flip. You look incredible, he says. You look terrified. Little bit of both. He takes her hand. Let's go meet your mom. They arrive at the venue, Her mother's penthouse overlooking the entire city, already packed with investors, politicians, and Manhattan elite. Isla spots her mother across the room, elegant in a white gown, holding court with a group of venture capitalists. "Mom!" Isla calls out, weaving through the crowd, Callum's hand in hers. "There's someone I want you to meet." Vivian Whitmore turns. She sees Isla first, smiling. Then her eyes shift to Callum, and everything changes. The champagne glass in Vivian's hand doesn't just drop. It shatters against the marble floor, the sound cutting through conversation like a gunshot. Champagne and glass spray across expensive shoes. People gasp, turn to look. But Isla only sees her mother's face. Vivian Whitmore has gone completely, utterly pale. She's staring at Callum like she's seen a ghost. No, like she's seen something worse than a ghost. "Mom?" Isla steps forward, alarmed. "Are you okay?" Vivian's voice, when it comes, is barely a whisper. But in that whisper, Isla hears something she's never heard from her mother before. Pure, undiluted rage. "What is he doing in my home?" Callum looks confused. "I'm sorry, have we met?" And that's when Isla realizes, this isn't about Callum, it's about his last name, Rhodes. Vivian Whitmore doesn't make scenes. In 26 years, Isla has seen her mother negotiate billion-dollar deals, fire executives without blinking, and stare down hostile board members with ice in her veins. But right now, in a room full of Manhattan's elite, her mother looks like she might actually lose control. "Everyone out," Vivian says quietly, but her voice carries. Within seconds, servers are ushering confused guests toward the balcony, offering more champagne, creating distance. Vivian's assistant, a woman who's been with her for 15 years, takes one look at her face and starts clearing the room faster. Isla's heart is pounding. "Mom, what is going on?" Vivian's eyes haven't left Callum. You're Marcus Rhodes' son." It's not a question, it's an accusation. Callum's confusion deepens. "Yes? I mean, that's my father, but I don't understand. Get out of my house." "Mom!" Isla's voice cracks. "What are you doing?" "Isla." Vivian finally looks at her daughter, and the expression on her face makes Isla's blood run cold. "Do you have any idea who this boy's father is?" "His name is Callum, and yes, I know who his father is. Marcus Rhodes, tech entrepreneur, Seattle-based." "Marcus Rhodes," Vivian interrupts, her voice shaking now, "is the man who destroyed my life." The words hang in the air like smoke. Callum goes very still. "What?" But Vivian is already turning away, walking toward her study, and Isla knows that walk. It's the walk that means this conversation is happening whether you want it to or not. She grabs Callum's hand. He's standing there frozen, and pulls him after her mother. The study door closes behind them with a soft click that feels like a cell door locking. Vivian pours herself a drink, doesn't offer them one. For a long moment, she just stands at the window, looking out over the city she conquered. When she finally speaks, her voice is eerily calm. 15 years ago, I was 41 years old. I had a company called Data Vault. We developed a revolutionary data compression algorithm, something that could reduce file sizes by 70% without any quality loss. Do you understand what that means? In a world drowning in data, we had found a way to make everything smaller, faster, cheaper. Every tech company on the planet wanted it. She takes a sip of her drink. I had a business partner, Marcus Rhodes. We'd met at Stanford, stayed friends, started the company together. 50-50 split. I handled the tech, he handled the business side. We were going to change the world. She laughs bitterly. God, we were so naive. Isla's stomach is twisting. She's never heard this story. Not like this. We were 3 months from our Series B, $50 million. Then Marcus withdrew from the partnership, said he wanted other opportunities. I trusted him. We were friends. Vivian turns to face them now, and her eyes are glittering. 2 weeks later, he filed patents for my algorithm, under his name, with his company, Rhodes Technologies. The algorithm I had spent 3 years developing, working 18-hour days, sacrificing everything for. He had copied every line of code, every iteration, every breakthrough, and he claimed it as his own. No, Callum whispers. No, that's not. I fought him, Vivian continues, her voice rising now. I sued him. I spent every dollar I had on lawyers, but Marcus had done his homework. He'd been planning this for months. He had fabricated documentation showing he'd contributed to the development. He had emails, time-stamped files, even testimony from employees he'd paid off. And I was just one woman with the truth and no proof. Isla feels sick. Mom, I lost everything. The lawsuit bankrupted me. The investors pulled out. Nobody wants to fund a company in the middle of a legal battle. Data Vault collapsed. I lost my house, my savings, everything. I was 42 years old, starting from zero. Vivian's hand is shaking around her glass. Do you know what your father did with my algorithm, Callum? He built Rhodes Technologies into a $12 billion empire. 12 billion. With my work, my innovation, my life. The silence in the room is suffocating. Callum's face has gone white. I didn't know. I swear to God, I didn't know any of this. Of course you didn't know. Vivian's voice drips with contempt. Marcus Rhodes has spent 15 years rewriting history, playing the visionary entrepreneur. Meanwhile, I clawed my way back from nothing. I worked 3 jobs, I slept in my car, I rebuilt myself dollar by dollar, investment by investment, until I could give my daughter the life she deserved. She looks at Isla now, and there's something in her eyes that makes Isla want to cry. Everything you have, your company, your opportunities, your future, I built that from the ashes of what Marcus Rhodes took from me, and you brought his son into my home. I didn't know, Isla says desperately. Mom, I swear, I had no idea. It doesn't matter. Vivian sets down her glass with a sharp click. End it. End this relationship. Now. What? No. No, Mom. You can't. I can and I will. Vivian's voice is steel. You will never see this boy again. If you do, I will remove you from Threadline's board. I will pull every dollar of funding from your company. I will make sure that every investor, every partner, every connection you have knows that you chose to betray your own mother for the son of the man who destroyed her. Isla feels like she's been punched. You wouldn't. Try me. Callum finally speaks, his voice hoarse. Ms. Whitmore, please. I understand you're angry, and you have every right to be. What my father did, if it's true, if. Vivian's laugh is sharp. Get out of my house, both of you. I can't look at you right now. They end up in Callum's hotel room because Isla can't go home, and Callum is too shell-shocked to be alone. For 20 minutes, neither of them speaks. Isla sits on the edge of the bed, staring at nothing. Callum paces, running his hands through his hair over and over. Finally, Callum stops. I need to call my father. Callum, I need to hear it from him. I need to know if it's true. He dials, puts it on speaker. It rings 4 times before Marcus Rhodes answers, his voice groggy. Callum, it's almost midnight. What's wrong? Dad, Callum's voice is shaking. I need you to tell me the truth about something. 15 years ago, did you have a business partner named Vivienne Whitmore? The pause on the other end of the line is everything they need to know. Where is this coming from? Marcus asked carefully. Answer the question. Another pause then. Yes, we had a company together. Data Vault, it didn't work out. Did you steal her algorithm? Callum, business is complicated. There were disputes about intellectual property. Did you steal her algorithm? Callum's shouting now. Did you take her work and patent it under your name? Did you destroy her company? The silence stretches. Then Marcus Rhodes sighs. Son, you don't understand how things worked back then. The tech industry was cutthroat. Everyone was taking ideas from everyone. Vivian and I had a disagreement about the direction of the company. I protected my interests. That's business. That's not business, that's theft. Callum's voice breaks. Dad, you destroyed her life. I built a company worth $12 billion. I gave you and your sister everything. I don't regret the decisions I made. Callum hangs up. For a moment, he just stands there staring at his phone. Then he throws it across the room. It hits the wall and shatters. Oh my God, he whispers. Oh my God, it's true. It's all true. Isla goes to him, wraps her arms around him, but he's shaking. Callum, my entire life, everything I have, the education, the opportunities, the money that let me start my consultancy without worrying about rent. His voice cracks. It's all built on what he stole from your mother. That's not your fault, isn't it? He pulls away from her, and there are tears on his face. Isla, I gave a TED talk about ethical business practices. I consult on corporate responsibility. And the whole time, my father. He can't finish the sentence. They sit there in the wreckage of the evening, trying to process everything. Around 3 a.m., Isla finally speaks. We can't let this end us. Callum looks at her. Your mother will destroy you. I don't care. Yes, you do. And you should. He takes her hand. Isla, I love you. I think I've loved you since that first night in Singapore. But I can't let you lose everything from me. Not when everything you have came from your mother's sacrifice. So what, we just give up? Let our parents' past destroy our future? I don't know, Callum says miserably. I honestly don't know. Isla doesn't sleep. At dawn, she goes home. Her penthouse. The one her mother helped her buy. The one that now feels tainted. She tries to work, tries to focus on Threadline, but everything feels meaningless. Around noon, her phone rings. It's her mother. We need to talk, Vivian says. Come to my office. When Isla arrives, Vivian is already there, looking like she didn't sleep either. But there's something different about her expression. Something harder. I owe you an explanation, Vivian says. Sit down. Isla sits. Vivian slides a folder across the desk. What is this? Open it. Isla opens the folder. Inside are documents. Lots of documents. Legal papers, property deeds, corporate filings. She scans them, confused until she starts to see the pattern. Rhodes Properties, LLC, Rhodes Holdings, Rhodes Investment Group, and they're all owned by shell companies. Different names, different addresses. But as Isla digs deeper, Following the paper trail, she sees the same signature on every document. Vivian Whitmore. Mom, what is this? Vivian's smile is cold. Revenge. For 15 years, I've been buying up Marcus Rhodes's debt. Every property, every risky investment, every piece of leverage. Right now, I own 40% of his empire. I've been building a noose around his neck, and he doesn't even know it's there. Isla's hands are shaking. Why are you showing me this? Because you need to understand what's at stake. This isn't just about a grudge, Isla. This is about justice. Marcus Rhodes destroyed my life. He stole my work, bankrupted me, left me with nothing. And for 15 years, I've been patient, methodical, waiting for the perfect moment to take it all back. Mom, I'm almost there. Vivian leans forward, her eyes intense. In 3 months, Marcus has a major loan coming due, $200 million. He's leveraged almost everything to expand Rhodes Technologies into AI, your boyfriend's field, ironically. If he defaults on that loan, I can trigger clauses in the other properties I control. I can foreclose on his real estate holdings, call in his debts, force him to sell assets at a loss. I can systematically dismantle everything he built. Isla feels like she's going to be sick. You're going to destroy him. Yes. Mom, that's... Isla struggles for words. That's not justice. That's obsession. Call it whatever you want. Vivian's voice is hard. This is happening. The only question is whether you're with me or against me. What does that mean? Vivian stands, walks to the window. It means that if you continue seeing Callum Rhodes, I will assume you're feeding him information. I will assume you're trying to sabotage my plans to help his father, and I will cut you off completely. No more funding for Threadline. No more family connections. No more trust fund. Nothing. You would do that? To your own daughter? Vivian turns, and for the first time, Isla sees real pain in her mother's eyes. I gave you everything, Isla. I rebuilt myself from nothing so you could have opportunities I never had. All I'm asking is for you to stand with me when I finally get the justice I deserve. Is that really too much? Isla can't answer, because the truth is, she doesn't know. The next 2 weeks are hell. Isla tries to stay away from Callum, but they keep texting. Long messages at 2 a.m., voice notes they record and delete and record again. They're both falling apart. Isla throws herself into work, but everything reminds her of him. The coffee shop where they video called every morning. The article he sent her about supply chain ethics. The stupid inside joke about sustainable AI that nobody else would understand. She starts digging into her mother's plan, and the more she learns, the more horrified she becomes. Vivian isn't just going after Marcus Rhodes' business. She's going after everything. His houses, his investments, even the charitable foundation he set up in his late wife's name. It's scorched earth. And then Isla discovers something else. She's going through corporate filings at 3 a.m. because that's what insomnia and heartbreak does to you. When she sees a medical equipment purchase order, it's buried in a subsidiary company, easy to miss. But Isla has been tracking her mother's shell companies for days now, and she recognizes the pattern. This equipment order? It's for a hospice facility in Seattle. Her blood runs cold. She digs deeper, finds medical records that she definitely shouldn't be able to access. But her mother's security isn't as good as she thinks. And there it is, Marcus Rhodes, pancreatic cancer, stage 4. Diagnosed 6 months ago. He's dying, and her mother knows. Isla feels like she's going to throw up. She grabs her phone, calls Callum. It's 3:30 a.m., but she doesn't care. He answers on the second ring, voice rough. Isla, is your father sick? Silence. Callum, answer me. Is your father sick? How did you? He breaks off. Yes, he has cancer. Pancreatic. He's been fighting it, but the doctors say maybe 6 months, maybe less. Isla's hands are shaking so hard she can barely hold the phone. Does anyone else know? Just family. He doesn't want it public. Doesn't want people treating him like he's already dead. Why are you? His voice changes. Isla, why are you asking? She can't answer because the truth is too horrible. Her mother knows Marcus Rhodes is dying, and she's planned her revenge for the moment when he's at his weakest. When he's too sick to fight back, when his family is already devastated, when taking everything from him will cause the maximum amount of pain. Isla, Callum's voice is urgent now. What's going on? I need to see you right now. They meet at the hotel, the same one from that first night, which now feels like a lifetime ago. Isla tells him everything. The shell companies, the debts, the plan, the timeline, and the fact that her mother knows his father is dying. Callum doesn't say anything for a long time. He just sits there, absorbing it. Finally, he speaks. She's going to wait until he's in hospice, isn't she? Until he's too weak to fight. And then she's going to take everything. I think so. My sister just started her master's degree. My father was going to pay for it. There's a medical research foundation in my mother's name. She died when I was 12, and my father's been funding it for 15 years. If your mother takes everything, he trails off. I know. Do you? Callum looks at her, and there's something in his eyes that breaks her heart. Because I need to ask you something, Isla, and I need you to be completely honest with me. Okay. Did you know who I was when we met? In Singapore? The question hits her like a physical blow. What? No. Callum, no, I swear. Because it would make sense, wouldn't it? His voice is shaking. Perfect revenge. The daughter seduces the son, gets inside information, helps her mother finish what she started. It's brilliant, actually. Stop it. Stop saying that. Then tell me this wasn't part of some plan. Tell me you really love me, because right now, I don't know what's real anymore. Isla grabs his face, forces him to look at her. Listen to me. I love you. I love you more than I've ever loved anyone. What we have is real. It's the most real thing in my life right now. Then prove it. His voice breaks. Stop her. That's all I need to know, Isla. Can you stop her? And that's the question, isn't it? The one that's been building this entire time. Because Isla knows what stopping her mother means. It means losing everything. The company she's built, the future she's planned, the relationship with the woman who sacrificed everything for her. But it also means saving the man she loves from watching his dying father lose everything in his final months. It means being the kind of person who doesn't let revenge destroy innocent people. It means choosing love over loyalty, hope over history. Before she can answer, her phone buzzes. A text from her mother. Tomorrow 9 a.m., my office. We're making the call to Marcus's lender. I want you there. This is your last chance to choose your family. Isla shows Callum the text. He reads it, and something in his expression hardens. You should go, he says quietly. What? You should be there. Stand with your mother. She's right. She gave you everything. And my father, His voice cracks. My father is a thief. What he did to your mother was unforgivable. Maybe he deserves this. Callum, no. Yes. He stands, barely holding himself together. I'm not going to be the reason you lose your future. 3 months versus 26 years. This isn't a choice. It is a choice, and I'm choosing you. Then you're making the wrong choice. He's crying now, and so is she. Go home, go stand with your mother, and maybe someday we'll live in a world where this could have worked. But right now, in this world, with this history, he shakes his head. We don't get a happy ending. Isla tries to argue, but Callum walks to the door and opens it. The message is clear. She leaves, gets in her car, sits there in the parking garage, sobbing so hard she can't breathe, and tries to figure out how to make an impossible choice in the next 14 hours. Because at 9 a.m. tomorrow, someone's world is going to end. The only question is whose? Isla doesn't sleep. How could she? She spends the entire night sitting on her apartment floor, surrounded by documents. Her mother's files on one side, photos of Callum on her phone on the other. 2 futures, 2 choices, and only one version of herself to live with the consequences. At 4 a.m., she's still sitting there when her phone rings. Unknown number. Hello? Isla Whitmore? The voice is unfamiliar. Male, older, with a slight rasp that sounds like years of cigarettes or maybe just exhaustion. Who is this? Marcus Rhodes. Isla's heart stops. How did you get this number? I'm a tech billionaire. I can get anyone's number. A pause. I need to talk to you about my son. I have nothing to say to you. Please, just 5 minutes. I'm not asking for my sake. I'm asking for his. Something in his voice makes her stay on the line. Marcus Rhodes sighs. Callum told me everything last night. Your mother's plans, the shell companies, all of it. He was destroyed. Not for me. I'm dying anyway. But because he thinks he's the reason you'll lose everything, Isla's throat tightens. He told you about us? He told me he's in love with you, that you're the best thing that's ever happened to him, and that he's going to walk away because he can't watch you sacrifice your future for him. Marcus coughs, a wet, painful sound. Ms. Whitmore, I've made a lot of mistakes in my life. What I did to your mother, that was the biggest one. I was young, ambitious, and I convinced myself that business was war and everyone was doing it. But that doesn't make it right. It doesn't excuse what I did. Why are you telling me this? Because I have 6 months to live, maybe less. And I've spent the last 15 years building an empire that doesn't mean anything. But my son, he's building something that matters. He's trying to fix the things people like me broke. And if he loses you because of my sins, Marcus's voice cracks. That's a legacy I can't live with or die with. What do you want from me? I want you to know that whatever you choose tomorrow, whether you stand with your mother or walk away, Callum will survive it, but I don't know if you will. So don't make this choice for him. Make it for yourself. Make it because you can live with it. He hangs up before she can respond. Isla sits there, phone in hand, watching the sun come up over Manhattan. The city that her mother conquered. The city that her mother gave her. At 7 a.m., she gets in the shower. At 7:30, she gets dressed. Black suit, the one she wore to her first board meeting. Armor. At 8:45, she's standing outside her mother's office building. And she still doesn't know what she's going to do. The elevator ride up feels like drowning in slow motion. 52 floors, each one a second closer to a decision she hasn't made. The elevator music is playing something classical and serene, which feels obscene given that Isla's heart is trying to break through her rib cage. The doors open. Vivian's assistant, Margaret, looks up and gives her a tight smile. "She's waiting for you. Conference room." Isla walks down the hall. Her heels click on marble. Everything in this building is expensive, elegant, powerful. Everything her mother built from ashes. The conference room doors are glass. Through them, she can see Vivian sitting at the head of the table, perfectly composed in a cream suit. Her lawyer, James Chen, is there. So is her mother's COO and her head of acquisitions. This isn't just a phone call. This is an execution, and they've brought witnesses. Isla opens the door. Every head turns. "Darling." Vivian's smile doesn't reach her eyes. "You're here. I wasn't sure you'd come." "I said I would." "Sit down. We're about to begin." Isla doesn't sit. She stands at the doorway, and something about her posture makes everyone in the room go quiet. "Mom, before you do this, I need to ask you something." Vivian's smile fades. "Isla, we don't have time for... Did you know Marcus Rhodes is dying?" The silence in the room is absolute. Vivian's face doesn't change, doesn't even flicker. And that's how Isla knows the answer before her mother even speaks. "Yes." The word lands like a bomb. James Chen shifts uncomfortably. The COO suddenly finds his notes very interesting. "How long have you known?" Isla's voice is surprisingly steady. 4 months. "And you planned this anyway. You planned to wait until he was in hospice, until his family was watching him die, and then take everything from them." "Yes." Vivian stands now, her eyes hard. "Because that's what he deserves. He took everything from me when I was at my lowest. He kicked me when I was down. Now I'm returning the favor. That's not justice, Mom. That's cruelty." Sometimes they're the same thing. Vivian walks around the table, her heels clicking, until she's standing face to face with her daughter. "Isla, I understand you're emotional about this boy. First love. It clouds judgment. But this isn't about him. This is about a debt that's been 15 years in the making. This is about showing the world that you can't destroy people without consequences." "No." Isla's voice is stronger now. "This is about you being so consumed by revenge that you can't see what it's turned you into. Careful. You taught me that success is the best revenge, remember? You rebuilt your life. You became more powerful than Marcus Rhodes ever was. You won, Mom. You already won. But that's not enough for you, is it? You need to destroy him. You need to salt the earth. And you don't care who else gets burned in the process." Vivian's jaw tightens. "That boy has turned your head, made you weak." "No. He made me see clearly for the first time in my life." Isla takes a breath. "Do you know what Callum does? He consults with companies on how to build ethical AI. He could be making millions working for tech giants, but instead he's trying to fix the damage people like his father cause. He's trying to be better, and you want to punish him for his father's sins." "This isn't about Callum." "Yes, it is." Isla's voice rises. "It's about him and his sister and everyone else who's going to lose everything when you pull the trigger." "Mom, I understand you were hurt. I understand you lost everything, but that happened to you. You can't let it define you forever. It made me who I am." "No." Isla's shouting now, and she doesn't care. You made you who you are. You're brilliant, Mom. You're one of the most powerful women in this city. You built an empire from nothing, not because Marcus Rhodes destroyed you, but because you refused to stay destroyed. That's your story, not this, not revenge. Vivian's hands are shaking. You have no idea what it was like. 42 years old, sleeping in my car, eating ramen for every meal, watching him on magazine covers with my work, my innovation. I know. Isla's voice softens. I know it was horrible. I know it was unfair. But Mom, if you do this, you become him. Don't you see that? You become the person who destroys someone's family, who takes everything from them when they're at their most vulnerable. You become Marcus Rhodes. The words hang in the air. Vivian's face goes white. Get out! Mom, I said get out. Please, just listen. No, you listen. Vivian's voice shakes with rage. 15 years. 15 years of patience, planning, sacrifice for this moment. And you want me to throw it away for a boy you've known for 3 months? A boy whose father destroyed my life? I want you to throw it away because it's destroying you. Isla's crying now. She can feel tears on her face, but she doesn't wipe them away. Mom, I love you. I love you so much. But I can't watch you do this. I can't be part of this. Then choose. Vivian's voice is ice. Right now, me or him, your family or some fantasy with a boy you barely know. Everything I've given you or a relationship that won't last 6 months once reality sets in. Isla looks at her mother, really looks at her. At the woman who worked 3 jobs to send her to private school, who taught her to be strong, to be fearless, to never let anyone make her small. The woman who gave up everything to give Isla everything. And she thinks about Callum, about the way he looks at her like she's the most important person in the world. About late-night calls and shared dreams and the feeling of being seen, truly seen, for the first time in her life. But more than that, she thinks about the kind of person she wants to be. I'm not choosing him over you, Mom. Vivian's eyes flash with something that might be triumph. I'm choosing the person I want to be over the person you're asking me to become. The triumph dies. If you make this call, Isla continues, her voice steady now. You're teaching me that love means nothing, that loyalty means revenge, that the only thing that matters is winning, no matter who gets hurt. And I can't learn that lesson, Mom. I won't. So you're choosing him. No, I'm choosing to not be cruel. There's a difference. Vivian stares at her daughter for a long moment. Then she turns back to the table, picks up the phone. Her hand hovers over it. Mom! Isla's voice breaks. Please, if you do this, you lose me. You really lose me. Not just for a week or a month, forever. I will walk away from everything. The company, the money, this family. And I will never speak to you again. You're bluffing. I'm not. Isla walks to the table, stands across from her mother. You want to know the difference between you and Marcus Rhodes? When he had to choose between his work and his integrity, he chose work. Right now, you get to choose between revenge and your daughter. Choose wisely. The room is so quiet you could hear a pin drop. Everyone is watching Vivian Whitmore, the woman who never backs down, who never shows weakness, who built an empire on the principle that you never ever let anyone win. Her hand is still on the phone. He destroyed me, Vivian whispers. I know. I spent 15 years planning this. I know. If I don't do this, he wins. After everything, he just wins. No, Mom. Isla's voice is soft now. He doesn't win. You do, because you'll be the bigger person. You'll be the one who chose mercy, and that's a victory he could never understand. Vivienne's hand is shaking. For the first time in Isla's life, her mother looks old, tired, human. If I do this, Vivienne says slowly, if I walk away from this, I need you to understand something. This debt doesn't disappear. It doesn't get forgiven. It stays with me forever. And every time I see you with him, I'll remember what I gave up. I know. I'll resent you for it. I know. I might never forgive you. I know. Isla's crying openly now. But you'll still be my mother, and I'll still love you. And maybe that's enough. Vivienne looks at the phone, then at her daughter, then back at the phone, and slowly she pulls her hand away. James, she says quietly, not taking her eyes off Isla. Cancel the call. Table everything, indefinitely. James Chen blinks. Ma'am, if we don't move now, the timing... I said cancel it. Vivienne's voice is sharp, then softer. I want everyone out, except Isla. The room empties in seconds. It's just the two of them now, mother and daughter, standing on opposite sides of a conference table that might as well be an ocean. I hope you know what you're giving up, Vivienne says. Do you? Vivienne's laugh is bitter. Get out of my office, Isla. Mom, please just go. I can't look at you right now. Isla hesitates. Then she walks around the table, stops in front of her mother, and before Vivienne can pull away, she wraps her arms around her. I'm sorry, Isla whispers. I'm sorry for all of it, for what Marcus did, for the pain you've carried, for making you choose. I'm so sorry, Mom. For a moment, Vivienne is stiff, unyielding. Then slowly, her arms come up. She holds her daughter, and Isla feels her mother's shoulders shake with silent sobs. They stand there for a long time. Two women who love each other, who've hurt each other, who are trying to figure out how to move forward when the past is so heavy. Finally, Vivienne pulls away, wipes her eyes with the back of her hand, a gesture so uncharacteristic it breaks Isla's heart. Go to him, Vivienne says, before I change my mind. Isla doesn't need to be told twice. Isla runs, actually runs through her mother's office building, past confused employees, into the elevator, down 52 floors that somehow feel like they take 52 hours. She bursts out onto the Manhattan street, gasping for air, and pulls out her phone. Calls Callum. It rings. Once, twice, 3 times. He doesn't answer. She calls again. Voicemail. Again. Voicemail. Panic rises in her chest. What if he's gone? What if he left New York, went back to Seattle, decided this was too much? What if her choosing him isn't enough if she chose too late? She's about to call a 4th time when her phone buzzes with a text from an unknown number. He's at the hotel, same room. He's been there all night. Marcus. Isla doesn't question it. She flags down a taxi because this is a moment for a taxi, not an Uber, and gives the address. The driver must see something in her face because he doesn't make small talk, just drives. 15 minutes later, the longest 15 minutes of her life, she's running through the hotel lobby, into the elevator, up to the 8th floor. Room 847, the same room where everything fell apart. She knocks. No answer. Callum? She pounds on the door. Callum, please, I need to talk to you. Nothing. I know you're in there. Marcus told me you were here. She stops, realizes how that sounds. Not in a creepy way, he just, Callum, please open the door. She hears movement inside. Footsteps. The lock clicks. The door opens. Callum looks like he hasn't slept either. His eyes are red, his hair a mess, still wearing yesterday's clothes. He looks at her like she's a ghost. "You're here," he says stupidly. "I'm here." "The call? Your mother? What happened?" "She didn't make it. She canceled everything." Callum staggers backward like the words physically hit him. "What?" "She canceled it. She's not going after your father. It's over." "Why? How did you—" He's staring at her like he can't quite believe she's real. "I told her that if she made that call, she'd lose me forever, and I meant it." Isla steps into the room and Callum backs up further, like he's afraid if he gets too close he'll wake up and this will all be a dream. "Callum, I chose you. I chose us." "Isla, no. No, you can't." He's shaking his head frantically. "You'll regret this. A month from now, a year from now, you'll resent me for making you choose." "You didn't make me choose anything. I chose. And I'd choose you 1,000 times over. Your mother is going to need time. Maybe a lot of time. But she's still my mother. We'll figure it out." Isla crosses the room, takes his hands. "Callum, listen to me. What we have is real. It's the realest thing in my life, and I'm not letting my parents' past destroy our future." "I'm not." Callum's crying now, tears streaming down his face. "I don't deserve you." "Shut up. I'm serious. You gave up everything." "I didn't give up everything. I gave up revenge and cruelty and becoming someone I'd hate. And I gained something so much better." She cups his face, makes him look at her. "I gained you. I gained us. I gained a future where I can look at myself in the mirror and know I did the right thing." "Ela," she kisses him. He kisses her back, desperate and relieved and still crying. They're both crying, actually, but it doesn't matter because they're here, together, and somehow they survived. When they finally break apart, Callum rests his forehead against hers. "What happens now?" he whispers. "I don't know. We figure it out. Together. Your company, if your mother pulled funding, then I'll find new investors. Or I'll start smaller. Or I'll figure something else out." Isla smiles through her tears. "I built something once. I can build it again. I'll help, whatever you need. I know you will." They stand there holding each other, and for the first time in weeks, Isla can breathe. Life doesn't magically fix itself. That's not how real life works. The next few months are hard, really hard. Vivian keeps her word. She doesn't destroy Marcus Rhodes, but she also doesn't speak to Isla for 6 weeks. No calls, no texts, nothing. Isla shows up at her mother's office twice and gets turned away both times. Threadline takes a hit. 2 investors pull out, spooked by rumors of family drama. Isla has to lay off 3 employees, which kills her. But the company survives. And weirdly, the adversity makes her better, makes her fight harder. Callum moves to New York. His consultancy goes remote, and he works from Isla's apartment, which is smaller than his place in Seattle, but somehow feels more like home. Word spreads when you're the guy who does ethics right. He's getting more clients now, bigger projects. Marcus Rhodes's health declines, fast. By month 4, he's in hospice. Isla offers to stay away, let Callum have this time with his father without the complication of their relationship. But Callum says no. "You're part of my life now," he tells her. That means you're part of this too. So Isla goes with him to Seattle, meets Marcus Rhodes in person for the first time. He's gaunt, gray, barely there. But when he sees Isla, he smiles. "You must be the woman who saved my son's life," he rasps. "I think he saved mine, actually," Isla says. "Take care of him. He's stubborn, like his mother, like you." Marcus coughs. "Thank your mother for me, for showing mercy. I know what it cost her. I will." Marcus dies 3 weeks later. The funeral is small, family only, and as they're standing at the gravesite, Isla sees something that makes her heart stop. Her mother, standing at the back, wearing black, maintaining distance. She didn't tell anyone she was coming, but she came. After the service, Isla approaches her. They haven't spoken in 4 months. "Mom!" "Isla!" Vivian's eyes are hidden behind sunglasses, but her voice is carefully neutral. "Thank you for coming. I didn't come for him, I came for you." Vivian pauses. "How are you?" "I'm okay. Callum's... he's dealing. It's hard. Death always is." They stand in awkward silence. Then Vivian says stiffly, "I've been thinking about what you said, about becoming the person you want to be." "Yeah? You were right. I was so focused on revenge that I couldn't see what it was turning me into." Vivian removes her sunglasses and her eyes are vulnerable in a way Isla has never seen. "I'm not saying I forgive him. I don't know if I ever will. But I'm saying I'm trying to let it go. For you, for myself." "Mom!" Isla's throat tightens. "I need time, Isla. I need to figure out how to be your mother when you're with him. But I'm trying. That's all I can promise." "That's enough. That's more than enough." Vivian nods. Then, hesitantly, "There's a board meeting next week for Threadline. I'd like to attend, if you'll have me." "As an investor or as my mom? Can I be both?" Isla smiles through tears. "Yeah, you can be both." Vivian doesn't hug her. That would be too much, too fast. But she squeezes Isla's hand. And in that moment, Isla knows they're going to be okay. Not today, maybe not for a while, but eventually. 8 months after that night in the conference room, Isla and Callum are in their apartment. Their apartment now, they finally made it official, having dinner. Callum's cooking, which is dangerous because he burns everything, but Isla loves him for trying. "I got an email today," Callum says, stirring something that used to be pasta, "from a company in Berlin. They want me to consult on their AI ethics framework. 6-month contract." "Berlin? That's amazing!" Isla jumps up to hug him, then sees the expression on his face. "What's wrong? It's 6 months. In Berlin, and I know we just got settled here, and your company is finally stable again, and..." "Callum." Isla takes the spoon from his hand before he burns the apartment down. "We'll figure it out. Maybe I can come with you for part of it. Maybe we do long distance again. Maybe we get really good at video calls. We've done harder things than this." "Have we? Are you kidding? We survived our parents trying to destroy each other. We can survive Berlin." He laughs and the sound fills their kitchen, and Isla realizes this is it. This is the life she chose. Not perfect, not easy, but real. Full of compromise and challenges and two people who love each other enough to figure it out. "Hey," Callum says, pulling her close. "Thank you." "For what?" "For choosing me, for choosing us, for being brave enough to fight for what we have." "You chose me too," Isla points out. "Best decision I ever made." They kiss and the pasta burns, and they order takeout instead, and it's perfect. So here's what I want to know. What would you have done? If you were standing in that conference room, would you have chosen love or loyalty? Would you have sacrificed everything for a relationship that had only lasted 3 months? Or would you have stood by your mother who gave you everything? Because here's the thing, there's no right answer. Isla made her choice, but that doesn't mean it's the only choice. Some of you are probably thinking she was crazy to risk her entire future for Callum. Others are probably thinking she did exactly the right thing. And you know what? You're both right. Drop your answer in the comments. Team Isla or Team Vivian? And tell me why. Because I genuinely want to know how you'd navigate an impossible situation like this. And if you're sitting here thinking, damn, I need more stories like this. Stories about messy families, impossible choices, love that costs everything, and people trying to figure out how to be better than their worst instincts, then hit that subscribe button. Because next week, we've got something that's going to blow your mind. A woman discovers her perfect husband has a second family. And when she tracks down the other wife, they decide to team up and take him down together. Trust me, you do not want to miss that. So subscribe, drop a comment, and I'll see you next week. And if you stayed all the way to the end, you're the real MVP. Thank you for being here. Until then, remember, the best revenge isn't destruction. It's building something so beautiful that your enemies can't take their eyes off it. Isla figured that out. Maybe we can too.